Alright guys, here I'm going to show you how to make a texture which fits or actually makes your robot or machinery look a little more realistic. It's like having a lip on it. I'm using John Licotti's model, making him famous. It's just quick access. I can grab this guy real quick. Also, I want to point this out real quick. I wouldn't be a good teacher if I didn't. John, that's the body. It needs more UV space on there. You don't have a lot of UV space. This guy is the biggest part of the piece, so he needs to be bigger. FYI. Alright, so back to this. If we look at this guy here, what we need to do is let's go ahead and export him out real quick. We'll take him into Photoshop. Just have some fun. So let's go to UV Texture Editor. Let's go to Polygons. Let's go to UV Snap. And UV Snap, we're going to go in here and do PNG. Let's go and find a place to put him. I got lots of places I can place this guy, so let's go and put him in. We'll put him in Images. We'll call this Demo. Save. There we go. I'll do 2048 in this case. He's a hero item. We'll hit OK. So now that we exported it out, let's go and open up Photoshop. Open it up. We'll go to Images. Let's go to Desktop real quick. Dropbox. Probably went into my default here. That's okay. Got a lot of stuff in here, so we'll do we'll view this by list. And we'll go in here. It's under Demo. Some details. There we go. Much better. And let's see if he comes up here. There he is. So grab him. Open. Alright, so we got this guy into this scene here. What I'm going to do, because I'm going to show what I did in class, I'm going to quickly make a substance node as a base texture we can play with. So I'll go and make a quick, simple piece of geo here. Let's go and create him. Let's do planar map on this guy. Best plane, hit project. And we'll go in here and time to use the substance node. Alright, so let's go to rendering, hypershade. Open this up. Select 2D textures. Now, the nice thing about using the substance node, they can actually give you a nice base to work off of. You don't have to stay with that texture, but it can give you some good stuff to work with. I'm going to double click on him real quick. And I'm going to get a substance file ready to be loaded. So let's go and click on the folder. To be able to load your substance node, you want to go to the C drive. You want to go to your program files, Autodesk. You probably have to rewind this a bit. 2013 Maya. And I'm going to go to the substance folder here. Now this time I'm going to choose, just for the heck of it, I'm going to choose aircraft metal. I'm going to hit OK. Now what it does, it brings in an aircraft metal object, and we can choose, or a substance I should say, a procedural texture. And what we do is we can choose diffuse, specular, and as soon as we do, it creates a material network for it. And we'll do normal. It's actually kind of nice. So, but we can play with this a little bit more if we go to the parameters, substance parameters, open it up. Let's go and middle mouse drag that texture to our object. Let me close this out a little bit. Let me show you how this works. So if we go in here now, and let's actually turn on viewport 2.0. It does take a little bit of memory, but it's all good. We can now see our normal map in progress there, or in context I should say. We can mess with random seed and change it. Scratches, we can increase the scratches or decrease them. All this can be animated too if you were to keep this just in Maya, but we're focusing on real time. Hue, let's go and change the hue a little bit. We can shift it. A little more blue, a little more green. It isn't too dramatic, but you get the idea. Tiling, so we can tile it if we need to. I'm going to leave it at that because I'm just going to use the base color. You can emboss it if you want, give you more of a dent, ripple, messes with our normal a bit. Normal strength overall, angle, hue, so we can mess with the hue a little bit. So if we want it to be a little more bluish, we can keep it blue or brown. We'll do a little more kind of a rusty copper just for the heck of it. Saturations, if you want desaturation or oversaturate it, either one. And let's keep that at 0.5. Alright, and we also have contrast, so if you want to make it a little more dramatic or not, that's up to you. I'll do 0.5 again. Oops, my bad. Put them back in the middle. Alright, so now that we got what we wanted, and you can use any of those. They have wood, they have all these different ones, but it's really great to be able to use it and use it as a base texture. That doesn't mean you have to stay with it, doesn't mean you have to keep it, but it can actually give you some ideas, and you can mix some Photoshop stuff or some images you got online for whatever context or whatever you're looking for. So we're going to go in here, we're going to export image to disk. I'm going to set this to 2048 just so my resolution is consistent. Export this out. And let me see, where do we want to put it? We'll put it in images here and select folder. And we'll set this to a Targa and hit export. Takes a few seconds. There it goes. Bakes it out, sends it out. Actually saves it as a separate group of full files. Alright, so we sent that out. Let's go to images here. There's our normal, there's our specular, there's our diffuse. Awesome. Let's open up the diffuse. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of this guy. Grab this part right here. Due to some of the details that I allowed in there, it kind of looks a little bit like leather. Not intended. Let's go and paste this in. Alright, so he's a little big for what we have. Let me turn my snap on in this case. Snap. Keep it in the corner. Let's put them underneath our UVs. There's our UVs right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the base level. I'm not going to go through all the details for it. But I'm going to show you how you can actually go in here and create a lip for your metal. Now our scratches probably aren't going to carry over really well because in this video we don't have time for me to show you how to match those. It's actually super easy. You can take it in a Mudbox and you can clone stamp. But I'm going to show you how to actually get the metal to look like it's plated in such a way so that it really accommodates our image. So in this case, you also have to know what your model looks like. So I'm not really super familiar with John's model, so I have to take a quick look at it real quick. I didn't model it, so I'm giving myself a little familiarity to it. So we can see there's an edge here. There's a face up in here, and he got this off some concept art, which was pretty cool concept art actually. So we need to go in here and maybe just highlight a little bit of this edge in here. Why not? Why not? That'll be cool. Alright, so right around this guy, going all the way around, and if we look at it, the mouth part, close this, don't need it right now, don't need you right now. Mouth part kind of needs a lip right in there too. Okay, so it opens up. Alright, cool. Alright, so let's do that. So what I'll do, let me go and grab my little lasso marquee tool. And I'm going to keep this right exact on my UVs. Now if it's not perfect, you can always adjust it later using Photoshop. And you can actually work in Mudbox, send this out to Photoshop if you run into any problems. And oh, looks like I already run into a little bit of problem here in the corner. Let me zoom in. There we go, a little bit better. And you can take it into Photoshop and you can use like the warp tool if you need to warp your image. There we go. So we go here. We could even maybe make the circle part a different shell just to make things a little bit easier and realistic. I'll do a quick select, down and dirty, because I just really want you guys to get this theory down. Understand the concept. There we go. Right there. Boom. And there, and there. Pretty cool. So we're just going to do a quick lasso tool. And the reason why I'm using the sharp point lasso, or the lasso with the angles on it, is because of the unique shape. And I just want to make sure I'm right on to what we're getting at. So that's close enough for now. Alright, so I got that texture. I'm going to go ahead and do edit, copy, and I'm not going to cut. I always want to make copy. Keep that base texture on there. I'm going to hit paste. So I'm going to go in here and go to edit, and we're going to go paste special, paste in place, and that is Shift Control V. It's easy to forget that. I'm going to double click on this guy. I'm going to go to bevel and emboss. Now what I'm going to do is turn on bevel and emboss. I'm going to set this to pillow, which makes it look like it's kind of indented, almost like two pieces of metal rubbing against each other. And then I'm going to go in here and change my highlights. I'll do like maybe something a little more yellowish, darker yellow on the highlight. You could even make it dark if you wanted to. I'm going to hit OK. And let me hit OK on this guy. And I can lower the shadow too if I wanted to too. So if we go back into pillow emboss, I can make the shadow a little more opaque if we wanted to, so it's a little not too distinct. And if you want to make it bigger, you can. You can mess with the blending modes, and the angle of light you can mess with. So how do you want that angle of light to be handled? And you kind of want to have it kind of a nice neutral. This actually might work. It's a little bit favoring to one side. So if I just move it kind of like a little bit like right here, that might work pretty well. We can imitate, like maybe seeing a little bit of shadow underneath the robot, so I can probably do something like that. Alright, so I hit OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn off the layer here, and let's go ahead and see what it looks like. Now it probably has way too many scratches, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flatten this temporarily. I always flatten it temporarily. I can always go back. You want to keep multiple things open too when you do this. We're going to hit save. So we're going to save this guy. And so we're going to go back into Maya, and we're going to reassign a new texture to this guy. And you're going to see that whole lip in action. So let's go and grab this. Let's go to my images. And we're not going to go to John's folder. We'll go to mine. Let's go to masters here. And just default, because I've been working in there. My different projects. Images. And where did I put it here? Diffuse Targa. There we go. Open. Now let me turn off the wireframe on shaded for a second. You're going to see some of the bolts in there because I didn't clean it up. So let me turn that off for a second there. Deselect it. Now let's see, where did he go? Oh, let me make sure. Go back in here. Double click, and let me turn on the unflatten for a second. Huh, there you go. Should be right there. Interesting. Let's go and save it again. And flatten. Save. And demo is what we want, so I grabbed the wrong one. So let's go and grab demo and reconnect demo. My bad, my bad. Let's go and grab that. Go to images. There he is. Open. Boosh, much better. So now when you look at this, you'll see we have a lip. Oh, I gotta make sure I turn off my UVs. Boop. Turn them off because it doesn't help. Okay. Gotta follow my own advice and cancel for a second. And flatten. Yes. Save. Yes, there we go. Now let's go in here. Let's reload this bugger. There we go. UV's be gone. So now you can see we have a little bit of a lip right there where the metal meets. Now mine's a little bit too strong. I can lower the shadow on that. But you kind of get the idea. And you can do it with multiple things and multiple objects. So let me show you this real quick. So we can go here and grab, we're going to use this texture again as a guinea pig. I'm going to go ahead and do a new layer. So I'm going to go and grab this guy here. And, oh, let me deselect that for a second. Let me click here, keep my finger on the shift key for a second. Huh, for some reason my shift isn't working tonight. That's okay. Might be a little weird Camtasia stuff happening. It's weird. Click here. I'll go to an angle. Maybe one more here, and then click right here. So I can copy this. And then we'll go in here and paste in place. And again, I can double click on this guy, do the bevel and emboss, switch it up and do maybe pillow emboss. And we can go here and play with this, highlight, how we want the highlight to look. And I can even put some bolts in here on this guy too if I want. So I got this little pillow emboss. I'm going to change my highlight to like maybe something a little more darker yellow this time. A little bit darker than last time. A little more gray in mine. We can mess with the strength or opacity if we want. It's a little bit more prominent there. And the cool thing is I can go in here and just move him a little bit. So if I don't want him there, I can put him over here like some plating. Right at the edge. My line's not perfectly straight. For some reason my straight line wouldn't work. And I can also put a bolt. So say I want a bolt in here. So I'll just do a new object, edit, new layer. This is kind of what I was doing in class. Shift, roll this guy out. Pick a color. We chose dark green in the class. And you can actually go into my files and see what we did in class. Double click on this guy. I'm going to do again bevel and emboss. See, we got a little bolt. And I'm going to hit OK on this guy. So watch this. I'm going to go edit, duplicate. Let me go and zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to scale him down. So edit. We're going to go to free transform, which is Control T. Scale that down. And let's go and move in a little bit closer. Apply. This guy in a little bit closer there. There we go. And I can double click on him because he's been duplicated. And then this time I can switch him to a pillow emboss. Look at that. We have a bolt. Now he doesn't quite have the same amount of noise, but we can steal that those scratches and bring them in on this particular scene if we want to. So I'll go in here and just kind of grab these scratches here and go edit, copy, go back to my bolt and go, and I can even merge my bolts if I wanted to. Now you got to be careful when you merge. Some things might get lost, and if that does happen, just keep that in mind. And let's go on edit. I'll go in here and merge these two guys. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. Merge layers. It's actually not too bad. Just depends on your parameters, what you have set up ahead of time. And paste. You'll notice that sometimes when you do merge stuff that you'll lose something that you got already planned in there, and no need to panic on that. You can always tweak out after the fact. We can do multiply, we can do overlay, and as I do overlay I can go in here and get my erase tool going and get a little more noise in my erase. Grab something like this. I have so many brushes, it's ridiculous. So we go in here and we'll do brush. Where's my brushes? There they are. Come here, buddy. Let's go to my presets, though. Presets. Alright, let's take a look here. Oh, it looks like I already had it open. I think we're good with that guy. And let's also go to dun, 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 dun. I must have moved my brush out of screen. That's okay. We'll turn brushes off, and then we'll turn brushes back on. There you go. He's down here. I knew that. So we'll go in here and you can actually, one of my students showed me this, which I wasn't aware that you could do this because I'm spoiled with Mudbox. That you can actually go to Shape Dynamic, and in Shape Dynamic you can turn on Jitter, which gives you a little more randomness when you paint. Just FYI. So let's go in here and lower the size of my stuff here. There we go. So now when I erase a little bit, we can kind of get those scratches continuing. And I can go in here in my layers and just change the opacity a little bit here. Give it a little more of a look to it. It looks like kind of oil trapped on the bolt. So you can see you can make all sorts of plating, and it's not that hard to do. Let's see if my shift key is still going to give me some trouble. Nope, it's still good to go. That was really weird that I was doing that before. So I can grab an existing side, and what I do a lot of the times, I'll actually grab what I need on a larger scale than just this, because it's a little awkward like that. And I'll go edit, copy, and then edit, paste, and place. And then from here, I'll go in here and change my bevel and emboss. There you go. And I'll turn off the other one, and I'll switch that to pillow, just because it looks a more realistic, like something's metals connected to each other. I'll turn off the one we did just a second ago. We can still move our bolt around, so we can do that. So let me grab this guy and move that around. We move our bolt here, and we can erase some of the other crap that we don't want. So I'll go in here. And the nice thing about when you make this bevel and emboss, if I hit delete, it'll compensate, and it will fix and move my lip over when I hit delete. It's actually pretty nice and convenient. So you can see we have a whole plate here that we just made. So I'll go in here and grab these guys. I'm going to merge them real quick. Now this is where it might get weird because you have your multiply active. So I'm going to merge layers. You'll see it disappear. So usually the only way that's going to take, this is what I was talking about earlier, is if you just merge it all at the same time. When you merge it, you can lose some of the other stuff that you had. Just keep that in mind. And let's go and edit duplicate layer. Move it over. There we go. Look at that. We got bolts. Just doing bevel and emboss. Pretty easy stuff, and you can see how you can make metallic things. You just got to make sure that those metal plates are right on your UVs so it's believable and it makes sense. Now you see we did that on John's. Could be a little bit smaller just by the angle. The angle makes it a little more distinct. You can see in between there a little bit more because it's pulling back, so we can actually make that shadow a little bit darker. Maybe even put a little bit of oil spilled off that guy. Alright, that's about it with that one. I'm going to try to do an occlusion one tonight for using Mudbox. If not, I'll definitely do it tomorrow.